So I was shortlisted for Credit Suisse. The shortlisting was based on resume, and I believe there was a CPI cutoff of around 7.2 or 7.5. I'm not really sure about it, but I think there was. And initially, around 40 people were shortlisted, and out of those, half similarly went on to the next rounds, and finally, I had to face 4 rounds of interviews, and in that round, only two of us were there, and one was selected by them, and the other one got rejected. So the first round was mostly resume based, and the HR round, in which they checked the confidence of the student and the presence of mind, I believe. And they just first of all asked me to walk me through my resume. So I told them section by section that I had done internship in this company, then projects in this sector. Then one of my internships was at IIM Ahmedabad, so I told them about that. Then my positions of responsibility, and finally the extracurricular activities. So they asked a few questions based on my internship at Futures First. For example, what I did during the internship, and how my opinion is about the company, and things about that. Likewise, there were many different questions. There were basically 5 panel members, so they were shooting various kind of questions from various sections, one after the another. So this is why I believe that it was more towards the presence of mind. And then I was sent to another room, which was basically the round two, in which 3 other panel members were there, and it was for me sort of a rapid fire round, in which the three were shooting questions at me, mostly from trading, because my internship was at Futures First, which is a proprietary trading firm. So they were mostly based around trading, and there were also some questions from my extracurricular activities. For example, dramatics and cricket. I have been involved in those activities, and at the end of that, I was given a case study to estimate the amount of tea which is consumed in Mumbai by the Mumbaikars. So the case study which was given to me was the amount of tea which is consumed by the Mumbaikars. So initially I wasn't sure that it was a guesstimate, and I just haphazardly approached it. So they calmed me down and asked me that to give it a proper approach using a pen and a paper. So I estimated the number of tea stalls which are there, and their customers. The main business time for them would be in the mornings and the evenings. So the amount of customers that they would attract, and then the amount of tea which would be consumed by the customers, and that is how I approached the problem. So they were quite happy with it, and there were a few questions from quick calculations as well. They gave me just, for example, 16 into 64, and those sort of 4 5 questions were there from the different panel members. And since my intern was at a trading firm, that is why I believe that the questions were shorted. So then I had my third round, in which I had 2 panel members, one from each of the earlier panels, and they asked me only one question. The question was, what would I bring to the company if I'm hired? So my answer to this question was that I would bring enthusiasm and energy to the company by sharing whatever little knowledge I have of finance, and of course trying to grasp as maximum as I can from the people working in the company. And they were quite happy with my answer, I believe, because I moved on to the fourth round gradually. So, and they also gave me the floor to ask them a few questions. So I would you know suggest all the candidates to prepare at least 3 or 4 unique questions, not repetitive and not the cliched ones, for the company. I would suggest all the interviewees to go through their website. There are a lot of things which might intrigue you, and if you ask those questions, they certainly believe that you've done some kind of a groundwork and you are interested in the company. So that helps a lot. So I too just did the same, and I asked them a few questions. They answered it, and they were very happy with those questions as well. They told me that these are kind of unique questions, and we are happy that you've gone through the website and things of this sort. And then for me the round was for about 8 to 10 minutes. For some others it was for about 20 to 25 minutes. So it varied from person to person. However, only this one question was asked, that what would you bring to the company if you are hired. So after that, we had the fourth round, in which out of the 40, only 3 made it to the final round. So in that round, we had probably the senior HR manager who was there, who again repeated all the same questions which were asked before. The thing which I liked the most about the company is that they were preparing pages of each and every candidate what they had answered in the previous rounds, and those were passed on to the panel members in the next rounds. So they had a clear bit of idea about what the opinion of the candidate was in the minds of the previous panel members. So all those papers which were prepared about me were given to him, and he analyzed those papers, asked a few questions from my resume, and he was trying to basically check my how would I be able to adjust myself according to the conditions in the company. And most of these questions were related to the resume and my experiences. One question which I wasn't prepared about, which he asked, was which is one of the things which irritates you. So I just answered it simply that folded papers irritate me a lot. So he was again quite surprised by the answer, and he told me that you haven't really prepared for it. So I told, yeah, I haven't. And then we moved on. He asked me a bit about my family background, and that was basically it in that round. So for the candidates who would be appearing for such interviews for companies similar to Credit Suisse or Credit Suisse, I believe that the most important thing is that one should be thorough with his or resume, because the first round in most of such companies is based on the resume, and if you are not convincing enough that you have done the work that you have written in your resume, then they are not uh, they don't pass you to the next round basically. So one needs to be thorough with his or resume. And then the most important thing which I felt during the entire placement process was that the confidence is the key to success. That is the ultimate thing which one needs to have. Even if you don't know the answer to a question, you just need to have the confidence to tell them straight away that you don't know it. And if you just try to give some goofy answers or something of that sort, they just know it that you don't know, and it gives a very bad impression. Also, being straightforward, as I told, that confident and being straightforward, these are very important things that one needs to have.